Force and pressure. Learning about contact forces and non-contact forces. Contact forces. Muscular force. Can you push or lift a book lying on a table without touching it? Not possible. Can you lift a bucket of water without holding it? Not possible. Generally, to apply a force on an object, your body has to be in contact with the object. When we push an object, like or lift a bucket of water, where does the force come from? This force is caused by the action of muscles in our body. The force resulting due to the action of muscles is known as muscular force. It is the muscular force that enables us to perform all activities involving movement or bending of our body. Animals also make use of muscular forces to carry out their physical activities and other tasks. Since muscular force can be applied only when it is in contact with an object, it is also called a contact force. Friction. When we stop pedaling a bicycle, it gradually slows down and finally comes to a stop. A boat comes to rest if we stop rowing it. The force responsible for changing the state of motion of the objects in all these examples is the force of friction. It is the force of friction between the surface of the ball and the ground that brings the moving ball to rest. Similarly, friction between water and the boat brings it to a stop once you stop rowing. The force of friction always acts on all the moving objects, and its direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. Since the force of friction arises due to the contact between the surfaces, it is also an example of a contact force. Non-contact forces. Magnetic force. Activity. Take a pair of bar magnets. Place the longer side of one of the magnets over 3 round-shaped pencils or wooden rollers. Now, bring one end of the other magnet near the end of the magnet placed on the rollers. Make sure that the 2 magnets do not touch each other. Bring the other end of the magnet near the same end of the magnet placed on the rollers. Note what happens to the magnet placed on the rollers every time another magnet is brought near it. Like poles of 2 magnets repel each other, and unlike poles attract each other. Attraction or repulsion between objects can also be seen as another form of pull or push. A magnet can exert a force on another magnet without being in contact with it. The force exerted by a magnet is an example of a non-contact force. The force exerted by a magnet on a piece of iron is also called a non-contact force. Electrostatic force. Activity. Take a plastic straw and cut it into nearly 2 equal pieces. Suspend one of the pieces from the edge of a table with the help of a piece of thread. Now hold the other piece of straw in your hand and rub its free end with a sheet of paper. Bring the rubbed end of the straw near the suspended straw. Make sure that the 2 pieces do not touch each other. A straw rubbed with paper attracts another straw. A straw is said to have acquired electrostatic charge after it has been rubbed with a sheet of paper. Such a straw is an example of a charged. If we rub the free end of the suspended piece of straw with a sheet of paper, again bring the piece of straw that was rubbed earlier with the paper near the free end of the suspended straw it repels, if it has also been rubbed with a sheet of paper. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force. This force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. The electrostatic force, therefore, is another example of a non-contact. Summary: a change in the speed of an object or the direction of its motion, or both, implies a change in its state of motion. Force acting on an object may cause a change in its state of motion or a change in its shape. A force can act on an object with or without being in contact with it. That is all in this subtopic, students. More to learn about forces in our next topic.